Portal 1 was first released in 2007 and it caught the world by surprise. Valve's title introduced us to a short but highly refined experience with tons of soul inside of it. To many gamers, Portal 1 is one of the best experiences that they have had in their entire gaming careers, and there's a reason for it. The puzzles are smart, the pacing is just right, the atmosphere and the world building done via creepy messages on the walls adds that special flavor to it. And of course, the robotic voice that guides you through it all, known to many as GLaDOS. To this day, it amazes me how the old-school Valve managed to put so much personality and charisma into a character that barely has any emotions in their speech and, overall, doesn't talk to you that much when we look at the fact that Portal 1 only takes on like 3 or 4 hours to complete. Now, 18 years after its premiere, most of us know it all and have played it fully, which brings us to the main point of the video. Meet the tech priestess, my girlfriend, which will be our subject today. She started to get into gaming hobby with me, previously having basically absolutely zero experience with it, which means that a whole new world has opened to her. That's amazing to witness, because sharing a hobby with someone you love is a great feeling, and I thought to myself that I should record her experience and present it to you all, so you can experience at least a portion of the joy that it gave me. Portal 1 was her first game where logic and puzzles are the main part of the gameplay loop, so it was an exciting but sometimes bumpy road. Please, sit back, relax, and let me guide you through this adventure. Quick note though, for the convenience of my girlfriend, the game will have its subtitles set to Polish and we will be talking in Polish, but I will add subtitles on the screen in English so you can understand us yapping in Slavic. Okay, here we go. As with almost every game, our experience starts in the main menu. We are greeted by an eerie atmosphere and shown our very beginning from the camera's perspective. We then wake up and are greeted by GLaDOS, who introduces us to the idea behind the experiment that we are part of. We are also introduced to our first button and our first cube, and this room is a prelude to my girlfriend experiencing source engine physics in later stages of the game. She quickly places the cube on a button, moves on, and asks one important question that most of us don't even think of because of our gaming experience.
Co oznacza właśnie te niebieskie, bo nie zrozumiałam.
I quickly explained to her how they are meant to show the connections between different switches affecting certain parts of the maps, and then she experienced her first portal puzzle right after. It kinda confused her at first, causing her to miss the correct portals to enter and making her run into glass, but she managed to crack this room and moved on. In the next room, we encountered the portal gun, now in an automated form, placed in the middle of the floor. She waited out the portal to spawn next to her and walked through it, and she kinda stopped for a moment because it felt to her like the portal gun was some sort of sentry that she can't interact with, which is valid reasoning since she knew nothing about the game before starting. I told her to move closer to it with no worries to not waste her precious time, and now she has unlocked half of the potential of the portal gun.
A portale można robić pomiędzy tymi?
Well, yeah, they can, but they can also be placed almost everywhere else. You just can't place them on darker metal surfaces and on glass panels. Then, my girlfriend unintentionally trolled us all, walking right to the exit, seeing the huge exit symbol above the door and then turning left, jumping back into the pit. She then placed her first floor portal, which will be a pattern that may cause some issues in the future. She then turned to her right and walked to the elevator. Turns out, she thought that the room must have had some other objective to complete because it felt too quick and simple. Well, worry not, priestess, challenges await. For room number 3, she encountered a first minor problem with having to think with portals. It kinda was not fully obvious to her that each portal goes 2 ways, but it was obvious to her that the main character works out in her free time.
Dupa.
After a moment, I told her that she needs to think with the portals, and if she can't move the orange one, she has to find a way to get to the exit with the blue one. She followed the advice and placed the blue portal in the most inconvenient place possible, falling down and missing the ledge above. She then placed it in a more reasonable spot, and then elevator to room number 4 and a quick reflection from our player.
Ludzie zobaczą, pomyślą, że masz głupią kobietę.
Well, I couldn't disagree more, since the gaming journey and the first-person puzzles are a totally new experience for her, but she will prove to us that she was wrong with that one. She quickly finishes room number 4, enters the next room and, well, it is not a big stop for her, She figured it out pretty quickly and experienced the wonky source physics once again. She then got trapped in a room with the glass ceiling and, like a true gamer, didn't look up for quite some time. But thankfully, after GLaDOS stopped talking about her lying, our protagonist managed to look up and escape. Room number 6 welcomed her to the energy balls for the first time, where she took her time shooting places where you cannot open portals, but then figured out the visual cue for the portal placement via the orange light on the ceiling. Easy trip to the elevator, room number 7 with one more portal done quickly, and here goes her first mandatory ceiling drop. Room number 8 introduces the player to the sewage floor, which kills you if you drop into it.
Please note that we have added a consequence for failure. Any contact with the chamber floor will result in an unsatisfactory mark on your official testing record, followed by death. Good luck.
This raised a good question.
A jak umrę?
Caused most likely because of my love for roguelikes and her knowing that every death means restart there. Thankfully, that's not the case here and she can make as many mistakes as she wants. One more thing that the Room 8 introduces is the very first reflex puzzle, which requires to place portals in a timely manner in order to complete it. You see, with her current limited experience, my girlfriend really enjoys turn-based games that give her the freedom to take her time to do the right thing. Meanwhile, in Portal over time, she will be forced to adapt to the changing puzzles and increasing difficulty in both the complexity and the reflex requirements. This time though, she figured it out pretty easily and had no problems, so yay for her, I guess. Unfortunately, her love for ceilings and floor portals kicked in and, well, look at it yourself. Thankfully, after her first death screen, she figured out that she could place the portals on the dots that were on the wall, so she succeeded. Room number 9 introduces us to the energy fields that reset your portals and destroy props, which threw her off for a bit, but after a minute or two she managed to connect two rooms together and picked up the cube.
Yup!
Well, no biggie. A few portals and we are good to go. Room number 10 shows the player the idea of using portals to generate momentum. After the first staircase is defeated, we encounter the first pit, which doesn't take long to beat, but then, on the second pit, we encounter the gamer problem of not looking up again. After a minute, she found the wall to place the blue portal, but yet another problem awaited her, having to actually land in a portal while falling, which required some more precision.
O Jezus, czemu to jest taki stres?
And the second jump went fine. And now we get the good part of the game, Room 11, where you receive the second part of your portal gun, the ability to place an orange portal enabling the game fully. After observing the room for some time in order to understand the puzzle, my girlfriend encountered her first button that runs on timer, which was another step towards becoming a game not only about puzzles but also about reflex. It's not a hard puzzle, but it's another moving piece added to the game's arsenal. A few portals later, we get the upgrade for the portal gun, opening the door, placing the portal behind it, a quick jump, and here we are, on our way to room 12. Now, the real Portal experience begins after 40 minutes of introduction of the main game mechanics. After placing two portals for a momentum jump, our protagonist misses the jump, after which I tell her about the option of shooting the portal under your feet while falling in order to guarantee landing in it. This works pretty well in her favor, making the next few jumps a pretty easy experience. Thankfully, she also learns to just aim better when falling, so that's a double win. Room 13 is a room that's crucial for her experience with the game. For the first time, she takes a longer look at the infographics shown in each room and asks the most important question.
A kiedy będzie ciasto?
A question which I did not answer at all. The room itself is a bump in difficulty in a way, which meant that she needed a bit more time to process the plan on completing it. In the meantime, I wanted to say, Portal's music is just so goddamn atmospheric, you know? Here, let me accompany our protagonist and listen to the music while doing so. After some time she figured out the room and proceeded to carry out the plan, grabbing the cube, and then she went back for the second cube, which didn't go well, after which she got trapped in her first portal loop for a moment. She then transported the cube via those portals and almost fell into the loop again. And then the source engine physics got to her. And they got to her again. But after a moment, she finished the room and escaped by a graceful jump. The next room is stretched out but fairly simple to complete and didn't cause any trouble for her outside of, well, two things. First, she thought that she was too slow for the staircase. And then, do you remember when I mentioned that she enjoyed placing portals on the floor a bit too much? Yeah, after having trouble with that, she figured out the easy way of transportation. Noticing the platforms in the next segment, she thought with portals and said, fuck that, I'm not going to jump on these platforms, I will just portal to the other side. But unfortunately, to solve this puzzle, she had to jump on the way back, which went surprisingly well, but on the way back, the staircase PTSD has activated and, well, room finished, victory elevator reached, room 15 incoming. In this room, you can notice that the pattern of discovering new puzzles has already changed for her. She starts looking everywhere, including up, and she does it pretty fast now. And now, she has to learn the double portal jump for the big jumps. After a second failed attempt, she succeeds and moves on to the next segment, which is basically her first real reflex puzzle. Discovering the fact that she has to place the second pair of portals quickly stressed her out a bit, but it shouldn't be that bad, right? She took a semi-optimal approach to solving the puzzle first, but got back to the drawing board and figured it out herself. The next segment is basically the double portal jump with additional steps. She managed to clear that quickly. The rest of the room though would be a nightmare fuel for her. And then, out of nowhere, she managed to solve the puzzle in such a weird way that I was honestly impressed. And now she had to leave this segment and proceeded to the next one.
Whee!
But that "we" would soon change into a "woo", mes amis. Let me introduce you to the reverse platforming segment, which, well, caused her a little bit of trouble.
Nie! 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 Ja czuję ból fizyczny, nie! After a heroic success, we get to the next room with our first real, time-pressured puzzle. The idea is to quickly push two buttons on both sides of the room and then use the portals to teleport the energy bolt and turn on the elevator. Shouldn't be that hard, right? Right, but the timing on the buttons is pretty damn strict here and it can be felt. One interesting thing that happened in this room was the instant correlation between a wall segment that's pushed out and portal jumps. Z tego co widzę, to znaczy, że ja się mam skakać?
When I think about it now, those really were only used for jumps until now, yet now it serves as a mark for the portal placement to hit the door correctly. In this room though, our tech priestess encountered some problems and well, she may have gotten a bit frustrated with the game, especially freshly after the reverse platforming section. She kept trying though, she was determined to finish this room now. After the last challenge, this one won't stop her. After all, it's just 4 portals and some steps, right?
Did you know
And finally, their room was fully finished. Next one is special though.
Due to mandatory scheduled maintenance, the appropriate chamber for this testing sequence is currently unavailable. It has been replaced with a live fire course designed for military androids. The Enrichment Center apologizes for the inconvenience and wishes you the best of luck.
Encountering her first turrets, she understood quickly that they are stationary and can only see in one direction.
Ale on patrzy tylko w jedną stronę, rozumiem.
She was pretty stressed about them shooting her through the glass window though, so yeah.
Ale na mnie nie trafi.
She also took a liking to that one turret next to her, since, well...
A ten nie będzie taki niemiły, prawda? Bo on się na mnie nie obróci.
It was not fully obvious to her that she can destroy those turrets via grabbing them or using portals.
No i niby co? No, ja tu i tu, żeby tam przylecieć? Ale on mnie ugryzie.
But she figured it out. For the next turret, she actually started to adjust her head far to the right, trying to look around the corner without moving in the game. This is not VR though, so it didn't do much unfortunately. Fortunately though, the turret can be easily dealt with, which is done with cold blood. The next turret almost avenges its brother, hurting our protagonist, but she manages to teleport behind it and take it down. One thing that I noticed at this point is how stressed out my girlfriend became every time a turret was shooting the crazy spray of bullets while falling down. She really felt endangered by this and did not want to catch a stray bullet that could force a reload of the last save. Right after this encounter, she notices the very first environmental storytelling done in Portal.
O nie, tam ktoś napisał help?
She quickly moved closer to the text on the floor and noticed the room hidden behind the misplaced wall and... took it all in silence. She just explored the room with its creepy atmosphere and its eerie soundtrack in the background.
Okej, ale nam to zrobili po to tylko, żebyśmy wiedzieli, że to jest lie? No ale czy nie za późno trochę ta fabuła się zaczęła?
Which is kinda a valid critique, because when we look at the game as a whole, it really takes off late with the whole twist. The next trap included 3 turrets and, well, it kinda was problematic one for her. You see, the whole problem was that she didn't really intuitively connect the fact that she has 2 huge cubes next to her that she can use as cover. She wanted to eliminate the turrets with the 2 ways that she already discovered, picking them up and placing portals. And well, this wouldn't work well in this situation. She actually tried to adjust her playstyle and using one turret as a cover against another, but unfortunately I had to intervene and show her the way of the cube. The moment she saw how easy it was to eliminate a solo turret, she turned her copy of Portal into Carmageddon and started running into turrets at full speed, which unfortunately does not work very well against 3 of those at the same time, but she reacted to it pretty well. After reloading, she actually found a useful room full of cubes and thought about one more way of bringing them down.
Można na nich to rzucić?
She proceeded to take out the first turret with the classic portal in the floor, watched it die in panic, and then started preparing a hit against the second turret. This one was planned to be bombarded with cubes from above. Unfortunately, the first hit did not land, so she tried again. This time against an easier target with a huge X symbol above its head. She placed the portal and started aiming, and then, well, she fell down and got obliterated by the third turret that she missed a minute earlier. She tried again, taking out the first turret with the portal, then actually trying to use its corpse as a way to eliminate the second turret, which is actually pretty brutal when you think about it. Then she took the good old reliable cube and actually landed the hit. And the last turret was eliminated by grabbing it from the back and letting go of it to make it fall down. I find it impressive that she went out of her way to eliminate all 3 turrets in 3 different ways. She then took the cube, opened the door by placing it on the button and got surprised by yet another turret. She grabbed a second cube and tried to use it as a cover, but figured out that she won't be able to do much in this position anyway. She went back a few steps and managed to snag a portal behind the turret and eliminated it by a gentle grab. Another turret, another portal, another grab, this time actually catching a stray bullet. It didn't do any real damage though, so she just rushed to the elevator and the room was actually finished. This didn't go that badly. But now we got to room 17, which is well known for one single entity. Ladies and gentlemen, please meet and greet the beloved, the one and only Portal Companion Cube. So yeah, in this room you need to take the cube with you and you need to keep it close, since almost every puzzle requires you to do something with it. The tech priestess took her companion cube with her and moved forward, stopping for a moment when she noticed the energy ball.
Czy ja mogę siebie chronić tą kostką, czy ta kostka się zniszczy?
Some questions tend to be answered instantly by the universe. Thankfully, the next time she tried that, it worked out in her favor and she managed to get to the next puzzle, which at first was quite simple, placing 2 portals and solving it pretty quickly. She noticed the platform going up after the first puzzle and jumped on it and kinda expected something to happen. You see, to her it was not that obvious that each elevator is enabled thanks to solving a puzzle. But after some time she went on to explore the other parts of this room. The second test was a dark room with a little energy orb and a simple energy port. The twist there is that you cannot place portals inside this room since it is all built with metal. She then grabbed the companion cube and almost killed herself, but I think that it's safe to say that it worked out in the end. On her way out, she noticed the second hidden room that expands the tragic lore behind the experiments. She took some time to read all the texts on the walls, to look at the totally not weird photos of the companion cube. She even looked closely at the cartons of the milk.
Milk.
After exiting, one sentence summarized it pretty well.
Cóż creepy, cóż można rzec?
The next room she actually asked me to do for her, since she figured out how it was supposed to be done, but due to not being totally sure of her capabilities and kinda being exhausted from all the previous rooms that she did, she didn't feel up to the task at this time.
Jestem pod wrażeniem.
I did the puzzle for her, we got all the 3 platforms online, she hopped back on the gaming seat and well...
Żeby tylko nie spierdolić.
Well, jumps in video games have always been her worst enemy. But after defeating her worst enemy, it was time to defeat her best friend. One of the iconic moments in the game is having to euthanize your lovely companion cube in order to proceed. The tech priestess tried to do it a few times, almost managing to burn the cube on her 3rd try, but somehow she managed to bug out the game. I honestly have no idea how this could be done, but she managed to do it. The button stopped working properly and the room was impossible to finish. To me, it's actually pretty amazing that she somehow managed to do that. Quick reload time, and she managed to kill the companion cube on her 1st try now, showing us how much of an efficient and heartless killer she has become due to this game.
The experiment is nearing its conclusion. The enrichment center is required to remind you that you will be baked, and then there will be cake.
Nauczyłaś się wszystkiego? Korzystaj to teraz.
The experiment is nearing its conclusion.
As you can see on the room's infographic, it contains every part of the game that we have encountered so far, so for me it is sort of a final test before the big twist in the next room. So let's maybe do a quick montage of this room and the deaths that my girlfriend has suffered while solving it. The video is already long enough and we want to get to the cake party, right? In the meantime, let me be real with you for a second. Thank you so much for engaging with the video for so long. This video is my first big video after changing my niche. It took me over a month to prepare it and I hope that it was fun for you and I hope that you will find the rest of it enjoyable. Your comments and support mean a world to me and push me to continue this awesome hobby so I can give you something good to watch in your free time. If you want to stay in touch with my channel and watch my next videos in the year 2026, consider subscribing to the channel. Not every video upload will be as long as this one, I promise, but hey, maybe you will enjoy this kind of longer content. Well, anyway, please provide me some feedback in the comments. I am doing my best to make my content better and better over time. Anyway, that's it for the real talk. Let's go back to our experiment, shall we?
Well done.
Myślałam, że się pożygam.
Welcome to the final test.
It took her a bit to start solving the final room, but once she started, she actually did pretty well.
Ja mam tu wskoczyć, żeby kliknąć, żeby to otworzył. O ja pitole! Jak ja mam to zrobić?
She then gathered the courage to start the final part of the experiment, hopped on the platform, graciously crouched under the first obstacle, checked out the button, and quickly solved it with the portal behind the door. She then saved once again, just to be sure. Because yes, she was getting paranoid in terms of saving by the end of the game. The tech priestess jumped back on the platform and actually disarmed the death ball on her first try. So it looks like she got the hang of the game. And then she saved again. Well, to be honest, that's quite understandable since the puzzles are very close to each other and put her on a time limit, so that's actually pretty damn smart. The save was pretty useful though, since she didn't crack the wall obstacle at her first try, but she understood the assignment quickly and, well, she forgot to jump into the portal. Third time is the charm though, and lucky for her, she managed to save just before...
Congratulations. The test is now over. All Aperture technologies remain safely operational up to 4,000 degrees Kelvin. Rest assured that there is absolutely no chance of a dangerous equipment malfunction prior to your victory incandescence. Thank you for participating in this Aperture Science Computer-Aided Enrichment activity.
Już za późno, tak? Cokolwiek robić.
Chodź jeszcze opowiedz.
Unfortunately, finding the right time to press spacebar in order to jump off the platform turned out to be harder for her than I expected. The next segment is full of atmosphere and cool industrial sites, but overall, it mostly is just an experience you have while using various methods that you learned before. So, if you will allow me, I will do this segment as kind of a highlight reel, just to show you the most interesting encounters, thoughts, and some problematic parts for my girlfriend. This way, you will get the best out of this, and we will get to GLaDOS faster. It's a win-win, right?
Wzrosło mi ciśnienie. Słuchaj, ty nie uprawiasz pussy gamingu, a ja robię, bo mam pussy i... Yeah! What? What the fuck? What the fuck? Aha! Open the door, bitch! Czy ja mam od razu lecieć do jednej, żeby ją złapać? Ja pierdolę. Ah.
Hi, baby. How are you?
Ja pierdolę! Ale to wygląda. O mój Boże. Oh wow.
So, here we are. The end of our journey together. Now, the GLaDOS boss fight itself is not that complicated. There is a furnace that you use to burn parts of GLaDOS, just like you did to your companion cube, but it is on a timer that requires you to portal between it and the button that controls it.
Good news. I figured out what that thing you just incinerated did. It was a morality core they installed after I flooded the enrichment center with a deadly neurotoxin to make me stop flooding the enrichment center with a deadly neurotoxin. So get comfortable while I warm up the neurotoxin emitters.
In order to get the parts from GLaDOS, you have to hit her with a rocket from the turret that she deployed. Do it 3 times, the fight is done. Now, you see, this fight took quite some time for my girlfriend. The first problem was the time pressure that caused her to act rather faster instead of more precisely. Then, the rocket turret turned out to be hard for her to manipulate, since she did not have a lot of experience with it and somehow she almost always tried to hit a side shot instead of just doing the simplest portals possible while getting shot by the turret in a straight line. And finally, the GLaDOS parts were not that easy to catch for her. At first, it took her some time to even notice those energy fields that hold the objects in their place, so she lost a few times due to not being able to find the next part on the map. Finally, the time pressure once again hit her when trying to put the balls in the oven, which caused her to miss a few times and lose a few runs because of that. So, what's the final count for this boss fight? Well, as you can see on the screen, it was pretty brutal to her. While not being super intense or super complicated, these small difficulties added up to a solid roadblock for her, which resulted in a rage quit and a small break between the sessions. And I will just pretend that this rage quit is the reason why it took me so long to finish this video. Thankfully, it took her some time, but she finally managed to crack the boss fight.
Yes.
GLaDOS was beaten, and the laboratory was going up, well, not in flames, it was literally going up. After a few hours of gameplay, the Tech Priestess has finally beaten Portal 1. And after over 30 minutes of a video,
You also managed to survive our journey together, dear viewer. Now, we should celebrate that with something. Something sweet. Something that makes you think of a party, right? Something like, a cake, maybe. Now, to quickly round up the video and draw some conclusions, we have seen a baby gamer experience this game for her first time. We have seen her struggle with basic things, and over time, we have seen her grow and start to do these things by muscle memory and by instinct. I gotta say, I am proud of my girlfriend for picking up this challenge and experiencing it all from start to finish. There is something amazing in introducing people to a hobby that you love and seeing them enjoy it as much as you do. Am I right? Anyway, my dear viewers, if you would ever want to see more of these kinds of videos, please voice your opinions in the comments section below. You can even hit us with some proposals for the games that could be featured. In the meantime, I will start to work on some smaller projects for the next uploads. I cannot take yet another beast like this video, for now at least. Hey, maybe it will be worth it in the end, and maybe it will gather more than 50 views overall, right? Anyway, thank you all so much for watching. I will see you in the next videos. Praise the Omnissiah.
Secret.